There are a lot of IPS mods out there. As far as the ones for the Nintendo handhelds, they're only for the Game Boy models. Until now, Cloud Game Store just dropped a new IPS screen for the DS Lite, and I could not wait to get my hands on it. Or should I say them, because we get to install new IPS screens in both the top and bottom halves of the DS Lite. In this video, I'm going to go over how to install them, compare them to the original displays, and see whether or not they're worth it. Spoiler alert, I like them, but prepare for trouble and make it double. Jokes aside, I struggled a bit with installing these new screens. In general, the DS family systems can be annoying to work with, especially when it comes to the top halves. But I also really struggled with the bottom screen because the ribbon cables aren't perfectly lined up for you like the original screens are. Thankfully, these screens don't require any trimming to your shell, though I did make one little snip here to give my ribbon cable connector a little room to breathe. You may have noticed that I'm using an extreme rate shell for this one. That's typically my go-to DS Lite shell brand, but I actually recommend not using them if you get these new screens. That's only because, for some odd reason, Extreme Rate makes this border that's normally a sticker on the digitizer a part of the plastic mold for the shell. And the reason why that's a problem here and not with the original DS Lite screen is because the new IPS screens are just a tad bigger than the originals. So because this border is hard plastic and a part of the shell, you'll need to trim it just a little bit or deal with the fact that part of your bottom screen is cut off. Thankfully, it's only like 1% of the total screen area that's cut off, and this is not something you'll have to worry about if you use literally any other shell like the original. I didn't trim mine at all, and I've hardly noticed that parts of my screen are cut off because it's just like the little tiniest bit around every side. So it evens out, and there's really only like a couple pixels on each side that are cut off. You can see it all even if you just angle it a little bit, you know? But anyways, I wanted to mention it here. The new bottom screen will come with a smaller border you can install on top of the digitizer. I recommend putting that on at the very end after everything is fully assembled and you know your screen is properly lined up. That way you can place it perfectly by using the edges on the shell screen cutout as a guide. As far as the rest of the installation goes, I don't really have any tips or tricks. It's all a bit annoying to line up, and you'll probably have to jack with the alignment a few times before you get it right. I do have a few more things I'd like to mention though. This does require soldering, but it is fairly simple. Half of it is just transferring the speakers from the old top screen to the new one, so it's only required if you want sound outside of the headphone jack. But you do also need to solder a wire between these 2 points so the screens can get enough power without flickering. There is one more bit of soldering that you can do, but it's pretty much useless. No, seriously, that's literally what the instructions say. I did it just to see what it does because the instructions don't tell you. And all it does is add some pretty pathetic scan lines and also a black and white option. There's absolutely no need for it. But if you want this for some reason, you'll have to do the soldering for both screens if you want it to happen to both of the screens. I only did it to this one, so it only changes the bottom screen. That's pretty much all you need to know about the installation process, other than how to disassemble and reassemble a DS Lite. If you want to follow along with me, I recorded it for the second channel, Jake64, but I messed up so many times it's more for entertainment than an actual tutorial. So follow along at your own risk for this one. Anyway, let's finally compare this IPS DS Lite to a stock one. Both the top and bottom IPS screens are identical, and while I don't think the original DS Lite screens look bad, the IPS screens look great. The IPS screens still have 4 levels of brightness and are about the same brightness at the lowest level, but are a bit higher at every other level. The new screens are also at a 4x integer scale, so they are very crisp. The colors are a bit more vibrant on the IPS screen, and they no longer have the cooler color temperature like the originals. And while all of these are definitely upgrades, it's really only noticeable when you put them side by side. Again, I don't think the original screens look bad, so it's really up to you. But there's still enough of a difference that it would be very noticeable if you only did this to one screen. And you might be asking, why would somebody only want to do it to one screen? 2 reasons: battery life and price. Both of these screens draw a lot more power compared to a stock DS Lite. On the main menu at the highest level of brightness, the stock DS Lite draws 183 milliamps, while the IPS screens draw 429 milliamps. That's over double the power draw of the original. The IPS screens draw so much power, it's enough to make the battery indicator freak out just by changing the brightness level. And I don't think cleaning the power switch would fix that like with an IPS GVA. If milliamps don't mean diddly to you, I got about 2 hours and 20 minutes of WarioWare Touched on my Pico flash cart at the lowest brightness before my DS died, on a full charge. To be fair, I don't know how well the original battery is holding up after 20 years, but since it draws 2.3 times more than the stock screens, I'm gonna guess your battery life will be at least cut in half on average. If all of that doesn't deter you, let's talk pricing. This screen costs 60 bucks, which is the average cost for an IPS mod, so it doesn't sound too bad. But this is a DS, so you gotta double it if you want to do it to both screens. Thankfully, I didn't have to fork over $120 for these because Handheld Legend sent these to me for free for review. And you can get it for less than 120 bucks if you use code Jake at Handheld Legend. This isn't sponsored, but I do get a kickback if you use my code. So thank you to the folks at Handheld Legend for getting these out to me, and so promptly too. That being said, I don't think this is worth 120 bucks to upgrade to, even if both of your top and bottom screens are currently broken. Code Jake definitely helps, but I think if it were closer to $90 for the pair, then it'd be more reasonable. It's just tough that everything is doubled with the DS systems. And then there's the macro. It's more reasonable to just buy one for a macro mod, but the point of the macro is to have the cheapest possible GBA with a decent backlit screen. And if you're gonna add a $60 screen to it, you might as well just mod a GBA, even if it would end up costing more. It would allow you to play Game Boy and Game Boy Color carts as well, and may even have a better battery life. It's really up to you and whether or not you think it's worth the upgrade. So, what do you guys think of the IPS modded DS Lite? Let me know in those comments down below. I really do like it. It just sucks the life out of the battery and your wallet. I hope there are eventually IPS screens for the DSi XL because those would really benefit from a 4x integer scale. OLED kits would be nice too, just throwing that out there. But that's about it for me. So like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of like the Great Wave.